Tashtile. My name is Gendun Rapsal. I teach Tibetan courses at Indiana University, and we have prepared an introductory video on Tibetan culture for you today, as will be narrated by my daughter Tsirin Penzum. So, Jiche, thank you.
The following is a poem used as a prayer to the Dalai Lamas from the 18th century up until now. It can also be considered as the national anthem of Tibet. It describes the Tibetan land and Tibetan people's prayer to the Dalai Lamas. It reads,
Kanri rawe kurwe shinkhamdir pendang dewa malun jongwe ne chenri siwang kesang jatso yi shebe sinti parto tenjurji.
In the land that is surrounded by the snow mountains, the source from whom originates all benefits and happiness, Gesang Gyatso, Bodhisattva of compassion, may you live long until the world comes to an end. For later Dalai Lamas, the prayer changes the name Gesang Gyatso to the new Dalai Lama's name. For the current Dalai Lama, the prayer is as follows.
Kanri rawe kurwe shinkhamdir pendang dewa malun jongwe ne chenri siwang tenzen jatso yi shebe sinti parto tenjurji.
In the land that is surrounded by the snow mountains, the source from whom originates all the benefits and happiness, Tenzin Gyatso, Bodhisattva of compassion, may you live long until the world comes to an end. The first two lines of this prayer describe the landscape of Tibet. Tibetan people live on the Tibetan Plateau, which is surrounded by mountain ranges that have an average elevation of around 14,000 feet. The world's highest mountains, such as Mount Everest and Mount Kailash, are located in Tibet. The highest lakes, such as Namso and Kokonor, are also in Tibet. Historically, there are two major livelihoods taken up by Tibetans. These are the nomads and the farmers. Nomads live on the mountains with their herds, which mainly consist of yak and sheep. They wear sheepskins as clothing to protect themselves in the cold weather provided by the high altitudes, and their tents are made with yak hair, called dagur. Nomads move from one place to another following where the grass grows during the winter and summertime. Farmers, on the other hand, are mostly located in the valleys and farm grains to produce their food. One of the main foods that Tibetans eat is tsampa. One could argue that tsampa is the Tibetan national food. It is made out of roasted barley and the dough is created using milk, butter, and tea. Tibetans proudly nickname themselves as tsampa eaters, or tsamsan in Tibetan. From the time of King Sonsen Gampo in the 7th century, Tibetans have practiced Buddhism. There are thousands and thousands of monasteries built across Tibet, and some of the largest monasteries have nearly 8,000 monks, while the smallest ones have just a handful of monks and nuns. The most popular Buddhist schools are known as the four major schools, or Jegyu Chimbushi in Tibetan. These four are Nyingmapa, Kagyupa, Sakyapa, and Gelugpa. Another major religion apart from Buddhism is Tibet's indigenous religion, which is called Bon. Bon was spread across Tibet from ancient times until now. Samye Monastery is known to be the first monastery in Tibet, and it was founded by Tibetan king Ditung Dense in the 8th century. As you see in these images, the temples around these monasteries represent each section of learning. For example, you can see different departments or schools, such as the School of Translation, the School of Meditation, School of Linguistics, and so on. Traditional Tibetan education systems are based on the 10 sciences, or Rigneju. Out of the 10, there are 5 major sciences and 5 minor sciences. These sciences are somewhat included in monastic curriculum, and for anyone pursuing to be a scholar, they should be undertaken. To list, these sciences are the science arts, grammar, medicine, logic, Buddhism, astrology, poetics, prodicee, or the patterns of rhythm and sound used in poetry, and synonyms, or synonymous names used in poetry and other works, as well as drama. Traditionally, Tibet has 3 major provinces. They are Utsang, Kham, and Amdo. Lhasa City is the capital and most famous city in Tibet. It was built in the 7th century during the reign of King Sonsen Gampo. The Potala Palace in Lhasa somewhat symbolizes Tibetan civilization. Building initially started in the 7th century, and in the 17th century it was renovated by the regent named Desi Sangye Gyatso. There are two other 7th century temples in Lhasa. These temples were built by the princesses from Nepal and China. Ramoche Temple faces China and Jokang Temple faces Nepal, to symbolize each temple's patronage. The statue of Jowa Rinpoche, or Buddha Shakyamuni in Jokang Temple, is regarded as the holiest statue in Tibet. Lhasa City is not only known for these ancient landmarks, but is also the official residence for the Dalai Lamas, and is surrounded by major educational centers or monasteries, such as Sera Monastery, Drepung Monastery, among others. Another major city in Tibet is Shikatse, which is the home city and monastery of the Panchen Lama, the second highest Lama in Tibet. Other major cities include Chamdo in Kham and Siling or Xingyin in Amdo. Here's a short clip of a song about Lhasa by Gyeyang Duma. The national food for Tibetans, for nomads and farmers alike, is tsampa, a roasted barley which Tibetans eat at home and on the road. Most Tibetans also love hot soups due to the high altitude and cold weather. They make noodles with soup called tukpa, among other cultural foods. Tibetans love celebrations, and they celebrate all kinds of festivals year-round. New Year's is one of the really big celebrations. At homes or in tents, families gather together for this celebration. There are many preparations that need to be undertaken, including cooking. One such New Year food is called droma desi that combines Tibetan native sweet potatoes, called droma, with rice, butter, and sugar. This is regarded as an auspicious dish. Another is kapse, which can be compared to cookies in the West, and nowadays Tibetan momo, or dumplings, is very popular. Tibetans wear their sheepskin clothing, and there's also clothing called nambu, which is made out of wool. Tibetan dresses are called chupa, and these are worn by both men and women. Tibetans love colorful clothing to wear for festivals. During the festivals, Tibetans will go to the monasteries to perform prayer services, and then go indoors during the winter and outdoors during the summer to celebrate the occasion. During these festivals, singing and dancing are very popular. Most dancing is accompanied by instruments such as drangin, piwang, and flutes. Here's an example of a traditional Tibetan dance. If you are interested in learning more about Tibetan, here are a few resources depending on what you'd like to focus on. If you would like to learn more about His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, the leader of the Tibetan people, both spiritually and politically, visit his website. If you want to learn more about the lives of Tibetan lamas and scholars in English, the Treasury Lives is a great resource. Indiana University, being one of the few universities that offers a Tibetan studies program and Tibetan language classes, has a great deal of information. Check out these links if you're interested.